I still call myself a socialist with a hyphen. I'm still a follower of the late and great Mr. Tony Benn, the best prime minister we never had. But I really don't like being called of the left anymore, because for me, the left has become synonymous with liberalism, small L liberalism, and I'm actually not all that liberal. I treat everyone as they would wish to be treated. I was a pioneer, for example. I got a Stonewall Award for parliamentary heroism in my stance for the rights of gay people, for example. I don't let anyone describe me as any of the ists and isms that they throw. I mean, I get called a racist, even though I've got 5 mixed race children, and I've represented more people of color in the British Parliament than anyone in history. This tendency of liberals who like to think of themselves as the left to call everyone one step to the right of them a fascist, to blame anyone who gets their syntax or their pronouns wrong as other kinds of ists and isms. This is the reason why I actually cringe when I am described as left-wing. I stand for the workers. I'm the leader of the Workers' Party. I fight for the rights of the workers and their families, and I'm content with that. But what I am is a visceral opponent of bullying, whether it is bullying on a domestic scale, a national scale, or an international scale. And if I see someone being bullied, I'll run to the side of the victim and stand with them. What's happened is there's been a bizarre outbreak of cross-dressing, so that the people on the left support the FBI and the CIA and the surveillance state and banning opponents from standing in elections and so on.
What's poppin'? My friends, my family. Look, this is liberalism in a nutshell. And this is what George Galloway was talking about. Liberalism is this. On Thursdays, we wear white for reproductive freedom. You mean that reproductive freedom that you guys lost under Democratic Party control? Joe Biden, that was Joe Biden. But that aside, we are supposed to care about this shit and liberal social issues as you guys are committing a genocide in Gaza. So we care about reproductive freedom as we commit a genocide in Gaza where mothers are forced to have C-sections without anesthesia. My friends, because of the policies that this hag in this picture supports, Nancy Pelosi, mothers are forced to go without food so they can delay the inevitable of their children starving to death. We're going to cover how aid to UNRWA was cut because UNRWA staff was tortured by Israel. It was torture to obtain confessions. The United States and the West cut aid, and now we have a famine in Gaza. But these liberals are talking about reproductive health. Children being forced to go through horrific surgeries, amputees without anesthesia. But you guys are talking about reproductive health. I said this before, I'm saying it again. I am sorry, but I am not sorry. This is absolutely not the time for culture wars. Absolutely not the time for that. People flow in the idea of voting for the Democratic Party to make suburban moms and women comfortable who support Democrats while there's a genocide going on. That's liberalism. That's the liberalism that George Galloway was talking about here, that we despise. CJ covered this, so I'm not going to play a lot of this video. You see, the most dangerous thing in the Western Hemisphere is liberalism. And the reason I'm showing this because
against the regime.
Big shout out to
The
Second
anti-Semitism
Pro,
charge
has
obviously
my
doesn't
viral
work
tweet here.
anymore.
Let
So
me
the
hear
liberals have fallen back on what they do best, weaponizing vague feelings. The main objection to rallies for Palestine now is that it makes people feel uncomfortable or unsafe on college campuses in the West. Here's an example that's been making the rounds online.
I'm gonna let him finish his thought, but look at that there. This is what I've been telling you people for quite some time, and this is. I'm gonna show you guys this clip where they're using anti-Semitism to roll back free speech rights. Yeah, the quote unquote free speech right is now rolling back our rights. Why? Because of white women Zionist tears. The most dangerous weapon in the world right now. White women Zionist tears enabled the death of 100 to 200,000 people. We're not using the 30,000 number no more. Here, I'm gonna play this last part, and then we wrap up with the intro.
We want him dead. Please let it, please.
Aside from the fact that those are the most obvious fake tears you've ever seen, I want you to think about the absurdity of this display. Claiming to feel unsafe in your insular little university versus this.
مين بدك مين بدك؟
أمي مع أخويا.
طيب انت ايش؟
أخويا أبو نسر
That's what unsafe looks like. You feel uncomfortable? Think about how uncomfortable it is to have no food or clean water.
Well said.